Okay, welcome back. This week I'm going full on video and I want to talk about who's making the decisions in your life, your ego or your intuition. So let's define ego and intuition. From my perspective, intuition is divine guidance, whatever that means for you, whether that's God or your guardian angel or the force or whatever it is for you. What is your divine guidance system that helps you make decisions? And your ego is that part of yourself, that part of your mind that actually separates you from your divine guidance. So not so good. Let me give you some examples. This last week, I took a week off to go sailing. I was down on the Texas coast. And I was having a good time, but on day one, I had a couple of intuitive inputs that said I really should have probably stopped for the day. Number one, I was having a hard time keeping my sails up. Number two, the main sheet on my boat, the clamp that holds it in, was failing, and I should have stopped and repaired that. But I kept pushing it on because my ego wanted me to get to a certain location by a certain time. And as I pushed on harder and harder, because my ego was driving me, eventually I made mistakes and I fell off my boat and ultimately capsized it in the middle of one of the intercoastal channels. And it took me about 5 hours to recover from that whole ordeal. So when I reflected on that, I thought, I had a couple signs along the way that said I should have stopped for the night, but I didn't. Later on in the week, as I was sailing at a pretty fast rate, about 8, 9, almost 10 knots, which is pretty fast on a sailboat terms, I was approaching a narrow passageway called South Pass. And I knew that South Pass had some very shallow spots in it. And if I didn't slow down the boat, I had the potential to, do some damage to the boat or kick up my rudder going at a high speed, causing a very kind of dangerous situation. And maybe I would have flipped the boat again in more shallow water than the last time. It would have been harder to get it going again. So I eased off the sails and slowed down, and sure enough, about 2 minutes later, I hit a shallow spot and my rudder kicked up, but I was only going about 3 knots. So it wasn't a big deal. But if I wouldn't have listened to that inner guidance and slowed down, I could have had another pretty major issue on my hands. I'm glad I listened to my intuition on Friday when I wasn't listening to my intuition on Monday. I would have been better off listening to my intuition on Monday. So, assignment for you this week then is be attentive to those times when you're feeling, like stressed out in life or a decision needs to be made, and then tune in to see who's making that decision. Is it your ego that's pushing you forward, that's causing you to make potentially bad decisions, or are you taking the time to relax, maybe pray or meditate if that's what you do, and ask for divine guidance and get that input that you need to make the optimum decision to move forward to whatever's next in your life. Try that out. Come back next week, and we'll have some more information for you. Have a great week.